Hi, I'm the channel creator of Hard Basis. I made this video to help you. This detailed video is your life, the scam you have been sold, one swipe at a time. Blinded by the algorithm, it's time to separate yourself from that parasite. Before you look in the mirror and wonder where in the hell did my life go and what could have been. And I assure you, the 22% of you that'll make it to the end of this video, you have a fighting chance. Make the change. I haven't run around with a phone to stare at for over 7 years. I cannot tell you how liberating it is.
We live in a world ablaze with notifications, a symphony of pings and vibrations constantly vying for our attention. Our phones, once tools of communication, have morphed into digital appendages, tethered to our palms and dictating our every move. We curate our lives online, broadcasting carefully edited snippets of joy and success, desperate for validation from a sea of faceless profiles. But beneath the veneer of likes and followers, a silent epidemic festers. We are the most connected generation in human history, yet we are also the loneliest. The consequences of this pervasive loneliness extend far beyond a mere sense of longing or isolation. Chronic loneliness has been linked to an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, depression, anxiety, and even premature death. The human brain, wired for connection, interprets social isolation as a threat to survival, triggering a cascade of stress hormones that wreak havoc on our bodies and minds. Beyond the individual level, the societal implications of widespread loneliness are equally alarming. While loneliness affects people of all ages, young adults and adolescents appear particularly vulnerable. Generation Z, born into a world saturated with technology and social media, is experiencing unprecedented levels of loneliness and social isolation. Social media platforms, while offering a portal for online interaction, often foster a culture of comparison, competition, and superficiality. The pressure to curate a perfect online persona can fuel feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and depression. Amidst this epidemic of loneliness, dating apps emerged, promising a digital antidote to the challenges of modern romance. However, the reality has proven to be far more complex and nuanced than the initial promise. The gamified nature of online dating can transform the search for love into a transactional and often dehumanizing experience. The pressure to present a picture-perfect version of oneself can fuel anxiety and insecurity. The abundance of choice offered by dating apps can lead to a paradox of choice, making it difficult to commit to one person. The algorithms that power many dating apps, designed to maximize engagement, may inadvertently contribute to the cycle of loneliness. These algorithms often prioritize profiles based on factors such as popularity and attractiveness, creating a feedback loop that can leave some individuals feeling invisible. The reliance on algorithms to filter potential partners can limit our opportunities for serendipitous encounters and chance connections. Dating apps, while offering a technological solution, may be perpetuating the very loneliness they aim to solve. Social media platforms, initially envisioned as virtual town squares, have evolved into echo chambers of curated content and carefully constructed personas. We scroll through our feeds, bombarded with images of seemingly perfect lives, fueling a culture of comparison, envy, and inadequacy. The pursuit of likes, followers, and online validation becomes a hollow substitute for genuine human interaction. The digital world, with its emphasis on speed and instant gratification, has conditioned us to seek instant validation and superficial connections. In this digital age, attention has become a precious commodity, a currency we exchange in the marketplace of the virtual world. The art of conversation has been reduced to a series of fragmented text messages and superficial exchanges. We have forgotten how to truly listen and engage in deep, meaningful conversations. The digital world has eroded our capacity for solitude and the kind of deep connections that can only be forged through face-to-face interaction. The rise of dating apps has contributed to the erosion of intimacy in our relationships. It's that time for a competitive contest. For a limited time, you can follow this channel and your subscription will be free for life, you Homo sapiens. To enter and get your lifetime free membership, hit the subscribe button once, click the like button 3 times, send 1 share to a friend, And last, in the comments type, "I did it, why won't you?" Back to our story, kids. The gamified nature of online dating can transform the search for love into a transactional experience. The vulnerability and authenticity essential for building genuine intimacy are often lost in the digital translation. The abundance of choice offered by dating apps can lead to a paradox of choice, making it difficult to commit to one person. In our relentless pursuit of efficiency, we have begun to commodify companionship itself. Apps and services that promise to connect us with friends or romantic partners offer a quick fix for our loneliness. The transactional nature of these interactions can leave us feeling emptier and more disconnected. Loneliness is not simply the absence of other people, but the absence of meaningful connection. The digital age has ushered in an era of unprecedented choice, a cornucopia of options in every aspect of our lives. This abundance of choice can be paralyzing, leading to decision fatigue. In the realm of dating, the endless stream of potential partners can make it difficult to commit to one person. The tyranny of choice can also manifest in our platonic relationships, making it hard to cultivate deep connections. The algorithms that power many dating apps may inadvertently contribute to the cycle of loneliness. These algorithms often prioritize profiles based on popularity and attractiveness, creating a feedback loop. This algorithmic bias can impact users' self-esteem and sense of self-worth. The emphasis on superficial criteria can overshadow the deeper qualities essential for building lasting connections. Open your phone, swipe. A cascade of faces, each vying for a fleeting moment of your attention. This is the gamified landscape of modern dating, where love is reduced to a series of swipes and fleeting interactions. Amidst the endless stream of faces, a profound sense of unease begins to creep in. Are we truly connecting, or just swiping through life itself? In the digital age, even our most intimate desires have become quantifiable, measurable, and subject to the cold logic of algorithms. Dating apps, with their intricate systems of matching, messaging, and profile optimization, transform the search for love into a strategic game, a quest for the highest possible match score. We obsess over the number of likes we receive, the frequency of our messages, and the elusive match that signifies our desirability in the digital dating pool. Our self-worth becomes inextricably linked to our online dating success, our hearts held hostage by the fickle whims of an algorithm. We analyze our interactions with the precision of statisticians, dissecting conversations, scrutinizing response times, and searching for hidden meanings in every emoji and punctuation mark. The spontaneity and joy of human connection are replaced by a relentless pursuit of optimization, a quest for the perfect profile, the perfect message, the perfect match. But love, as we all know, defies such easy quantification. It is a messy, unpredictable, and often irrational force that cannot be captured by algorithms or reduced to a series of data points. In our attempt to quantify the heart, we risk losing sight of the very qualities that make love so profound: its vulnerability, its authenticity, and its capacity to transcend the limitations of logic and reason. Behind the carefully curated profiles and witty bios lies a haunting truth. The people we encounter on dating apps are often not who they appear to be. The digital realm, with its promise of anonymity and reinvention, allows us to project idealized versions of ourselves, masking our insecurities and vulnerabilities behind a carefully constructed facade. We become masters of self-promotion, crafting online personas that bear little resemblance to our messy, flawed, and often contradictory true selves. We filter our photos, exaggerate our accomplishments, and carefully script our conversations, terrified of revealing the imperfections that make us human. But this performance of perfection comes at a cost. The more we hide behind our digital masks, the more difficult it becomes to form genuine connections based on authenticity and vulnerability. We become trapped in a cycle of superficial interactions, unable to break free from the fear of rejection that keeps us tethered to our carefully constructed online personas. The ghost in the machine is not the algorithm itself, but rather the disconnect between our digital representations and our true selves. It is the fear of vulnerability, the pressure to conform, and the relentless pursuit of validation that prevent us from showing up authentically in our online interactions. Every notification, every like, every message triggers a surge of dopamine in our brains, the same neurochemical reward pathway activated by drugs, gambling, and other addictive behaviors. Dating apps, with their constant stream of potential matches and the promise of instant gratification, have become masters at exploiting this biological vulnerability. We become hooked on the fleeting pleasure of the match, the validation of a like, the excitement of a new message. The digital world becomes our drug of choice, offering a quick and easy escape from the complexities and challenges of real-life connection. But this digital dopamine rush comes at a cost. The more we rely on these external sources of validation, the less we are able to find fulfillment and satisfaction in our offline lives. We become desensitized to the simple joys of human interaction, our brains craving the next digital hit, the next fleeting moment of connection. The illusion of connection offered by dating apps lies in their ability to mimic the neurological responses associated with real-life bonding. However, these digital interactions lack the depth, complexity, and nuance of genuine human connection, leaving us feeling ultimately unfulfilled and longing for something more substantial. In the age of social media and online dating, intimacy itself has become a performance, a carefully curated presentation of our most private selves for public consumption. We craft witty captions to accompany our couple selfies, share carefully edited glimpses into our romantic getaways, and engage in public displays of affection designed to elicit envy and admiration from our online audiences. But behind the carefully constructed facade of online intimacy lies a profound sense of disconnect. The pressure to present a picture-perfect relationship, free from conflict, boredom, and the messy realities of everyday life, can create a chasm between our online personas and the lived experiences of our relationships. We become afraid to express our true feelings, to share our vulnerabilities, and to engage in the kind of authentic communication that is essential for building genuine intimacy. The fear of judgment, rejection, or even envy from our online audiences can stifle our ability to connect with our partners on a deeper, more meaningful level. The performance of intimacy, while seemingly harmless on the surface, can have insidious consequences for our relationships. It can create a sense of disconnect and isolation, erode trust and communication, and ultimately undermine the very foundation of a healthy, loving partnership. The algorithms that power dating apps, while seemingly objective and impartial, are in fact deeply intertwined with our own unconscious biases and societal norms. These algorithms, designed to predict compatibility and maximize matches, often reinforce existing power dynamics and perpetuate harmful stereotypes. Studies have shown that dating app algorithms tend to favor users who conform to traditional standards of beauty, success, and desirability. This can lead to a feedback loop in which those who are already deemed attractive and desirable receive more matches and attention, while those who fall outside these narrow parameters are relegated to the digital margins. The algorithm, in its quest for efficiency and compatibility, becomes a mirror to our own societal prejudices, reflecting back to us our deeply ingrained biases about race, gender, body type, and social status. This algorithmic reinforcement of societal norms can have a profound impact on our self-esteem and sense of belonging. We internalize the messages conveyed by the platform, believing that our worthiness and desirability are determined by factors beyond our control, leading to feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, and self-doubt. Dating apps, in their relentless pursuit of efficiency and convenience, have transformed the search for love into a transactional endeavor. We browse through potential partners as if we are shopping for a new car or a pair of shoes, evaluating them based on a checklist of desired qualities and superficial attributes. The language of online dating reflects this transactional mindset. We talk about matching with someone as if we are comparing product specifications, ghosting someone when we lose interest, and benching someone as if they are a backup option to be kept on hold. This transactional approach to dating can have a dehumanizing effect, reducing potential partners to a series of desirable traits and superficial attributes. We lose sight of the fact that behind every profile picture and witty bio lies a complex, nuanced, and often messy human being deserving of respect, empathy, and genuine connection. The transactional nature of online dating can also lead to a sense of entitlement and a lack of accountability. We become accustomed to instant gratification and the ease with which we can move on to the next potential partner, losing the patience and resilience required to navigate the complexities and challenges of real-life relationships. Vulnerability, the willingness to open ourselves up to the possibility of hurt, rejection, and disappointment, is the lifeblood of genuine human connection. It is in those moments of shared vulnerability, when we allow ourselves to be seen in our entirety, flaws and all, that we forge the deepest and most meaningful bonds. But the digital world, with its emphasis on self-promotion, perfectionism, and the curated presentation of our best selves, can make it challenging to cultivate vulnerability. We become afraid to reveal our true selves, fearing that our imperfections will be met with judgment, rejection, or ridicule. Dating apps, with their emphasis on superficial criteria and the constant threat of rejection, can exacerbate this fear of vulnerability. We become hyper-aware of our perceived flaws, both physical and personality-based, and begin to view ourselves through the lens of our online dating experiences. This fear of vulnerability can create a vicious cycle, preventing us from forming the very connections we crave. The more we hide behind our digital masks, the more difficult it becomes to attract partners who accept and appreciate us for who we truly are. We become trapped in a self-fulfilling prophecy, our fear of vulnerability leading to the very rejection we are trying to avoid. The consequences of our increasingly disconnected world extend far beyond a mere sense of longing or isolation. Loneliness, once dismissed as a fleeting emotion or a personal failing, is now recognized as a public health crisis, with far-reaching implications for our physical, mental, and social well-being. The statistics paint a stark and sobering picture of the true cost of our collective disconnection. Studies have shown that chronic loneliness carries a risk factor for premature death comparable to smoking, obesity, and physical inactivity. Loneliness increases our risk of heart disease, stroke, dementia, depression, anxiety, and a host of other chronic illnesses. It weakens our immune system, disrupts our sleep, and accelerates cognitive decline. Loneliness, it turns out, is not simply a feeling. It is a physiological state that triggers a cascade of stress hormones, inflammation, and other biological changes that wreak havoc on our bodies and minds. Our bodies, wired for connection, interpret social isolation as a threat to our survival, triggering a primal fear response that can have devastating long-term consequences for our health and well-being. The economic burden of loneliness is also staggering. Lonely individuals are more likely to experience chronic health problems, leading to increased healthcare costs, reduced productivity, and a strain on social services. The cost of loneliness to the global economy is estimated to be in the trillions of dollars annually, a stark reminder that our collective well-being is inextricably linked to our social connectedness. The impact of loneliness is not merely psychological, it is deeply embedded in our biology. When we experience prolonged social isolation, our bodies go into a state of chronic stress, releasing a surge of hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, which, over time, can have a toxic effect on our cardiovascular, immune, and nervous systems. Chronic loneliness has been linked to increased inflammation throughout the body, a key driver of many chronic diseases, including heart disease, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. It also disrupts our sleep patterns, impairs our cognitive function, and increases our susceptibility to addiction and substance abuse. Our brains, wired for connection, interpret social isolation as a threat to our survival, triggering a primal fear response that can lead to anxiety, depression, and even suicidal thoughts. Loneliness can also exacerbate existing mental health conditions, making it more difficult to manage symptoms and maintain recovery. The body, it seems, keeps the score of our social disconnection, etching the wounds of loneliness onto our very cells. The good news is that our bodies are also remarkably resilient, capable of healing and adapting even after prolonged periods of stress and isolation. By prioritizing social connection and nurturing our relationships, we can begin to reverse the damage of loneliness and restore our bodies and minds to a state of balance and well-being. Social media, for all its promise of connection and community, has also played a paradoxical role in fueling the loneliness epidemic. While platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter can facilitate connections and provide a sense of belonging, they can also exacerbate feelings of inadequacy, envy, and social isolation. The curated nature of social media feeds, showcasing the highlight reels of others' lives, their vacations, their accomplishments, their seemingly perfect relationships, can create a distorted sense of reality, leaving us feeling inadequate, envious, and disconnected from our own lives. The constant comparison game fueled by social media can erode our self-esteem, leading to feelings of anxiety, depression, and a diminished sense of self-worth. We begin to measure our own lives against the unattainable standards set by others, forgetting that behind every perfect photo and witty caption lies a complex human being grappling with their own insecurities and challenges. Moreover, the superficial nature of many online interactions can leave us feeling empty and unfulfilled, craving the depth and nuance of face-to-face connection. We collect friends and followers like trophies, mistaking quantity for quality, and scrolling through our feeds in a desperate search for a fleeting sense of connection that always seems just out of reach. The algorithms that power our social media feeds, while seemingly objective and impartial, are in fact designed to maximize engagement and keep us glued to our screens, often at the expense of our mental health and well-being. These algorithms curate our online experiences, feeding us a steady stream of content tailored to our interests and preferences, creating filter bubbles that can reinforce our existing biases and limit our exposure to diverse perspectives. The more we engage with certain types of content, the more of it we are shown, creating a feedback loop that can lead to echo chambers of confirmation bias and a distorted sense of reality. We are less likely to encounter viewpoints that challenge our own, and more likely to be exposed to extreme or inflammatory content designed to elicit a reaction and keep us scrolling. This algorithmic manipulation extends beyond our news feeds, seeping into our social connections as well. Social media platforms prioritize content from those we interact with most frequently, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that can limit our exposure to new people and perspectives. We find ourselves trapped in echo chambers of like-minded individuals, our social circles shrinking as our online worlds expand. The algorithms, in their quest to keep us engaged, inadvertently foster a sense of social isolation. We become more connected to our devices than to the people around us, our attention spans shrinking as our online networks grow. We scroll through our feeds, bombarded with images of social gatherings and shared experiences, while feeling a growing sense of disconnect from the real-life connections that truly nourish our souls. The irony is inescapable. The very tools that promise to connect us have, in many ways, had the opposite effect. Social media, with its curated feeds, algorithmic manipulation, and emphasis on superficial interactions, has become a breeding ground for loneliness, fueling a sense of isolation and disconnect that can have profound consequences for our mental health, our relationships, and our sense of belonging in the world. Breaking free from the algorithm of isolation requires a conscious effort to engage with social media in a more mindful and intentional way. We must be willing to step outside our comfort zones, to seek out diverse perspectives, to engage in meaningful conversations, and to prioritize face-to-face interactions over digital surrogates. It is only by reclaiming our autonomy, by consciously choosing how we connect and with whom, that we can harness the power of technology to foster genuine connection rather than exacerbate our isolation. The digital age has ushered in an era of unprecedented convenience, where everything from groceries to companionship is available at our fingertips, delivered with just a few swipes on our smartphones. While this on-demand culture has undoubtedly simplified many aspects of our lives, it has also come at a cost, eroding our tolerance for discomfort, our patience for building relationships, and our appreciation for the simple joys of human interaction. We have become accustomed to instant gratification, expecting immediate responses to our messages, instant access to information, and a constant stream of entertainment to fill every idle moment. This impatience has seeped into our relationships as well, leading us to seek quick fixes for our loneliness, instant connections, and a superficial sense of intimacy that can be turned on and off like a light switch. We have forgotten the value of patience, of allowing relationships to unfold organically, of navigating the inevitable challenges and complexities that arise when two unique individuals attempt to connect on a deeper level. We have become consumers of relationships, seeking the path of least resistance, the option that requires the least amount of effort, the connection that delivers the most immediate gratification. This pursuit of convenience has led to a devaluation of human connection, a sense that relationships, like so many other aspects of our lives, are disposable and easily replaceable. We swipe through potential partners with the same casual indifference we reserve for browsing online catalogs, seeking a fleeting hit of dopamine, a momentary distraction from the nagging emptiness that lingers beneath the surface. Our attention, once a precious and finite resource, has become fragmented and scattered, pulled in countless directions by the relentless demands of the digital age. We are bombarded with notifications, emails, social media updates, and breaking news alerts, all vying for a fleeting moment of our attention, leaving us feeling overwhelmed, depleted, and disconnected from the present moment. This culture of distraction has eroded our ability to be fully present in our interactions, both with ourselves and with others. We check our phones during conversations, scroll through social media while eating meals with loved ones, and multitask our way through experiences that deserve our undivided attention. We have become so accustomed to this constant stimulation, this digital cacophony, that silence and solitude have become almost unbearable. We fill every quiet moment with noise, every pause with a distraction, afraid to confront the emptiness that might lie beneath the surface. This inability to be present has profound implications for our relationships. When we are unable to give our full attention to the people we care about, we miss out on the subtle cues, the unspoken emotions, and the shared moments of connection that form the very fabric of intimacy. We become emotionally unavailable, even when we are physically present, our minds lost in the digital ether, our hearts yearning for a connection that eludes our grasp. Paradoxically, as we become more connected through technology, we also crave authenticity more than ever before. We are weary of the carefully curated online personas, the filtered photos, the perfectly crafted captions that present an idealized version of reality. We long for genuine connection, for vulnerability, for the messy, imperfect beauty of real human interaction. We want to see beyond the digital facades, to connect with the hearts and souls behind the screens. This hunger for authenticity extends beyond our personal relationships. We are seeking it in our work, in our communities, and in our leaders. We want to align ourselves with brands, organizations, and individuals who are transparent, genuine, and committed to making a positive impact on the world. This yearning for authenticity is a hopeful sign, a beacon of light amidst the darkness of our disconnected world. It is a reminder that despite the challenges we face, despite the ways in which technology has shaped our interactions, the human heart still yearns for connection, for belonging, for the shared experience of being fully alive in the world. Perhaps the most insidious form of disconnect in our hyper-connected world is the disconnect within ourselves. We have become so accustomed to presenting a curated version of ourselves to the world, both online and offline, that we have lost touch with our own authentic selves. We strive to project an image of success, happiness, and effortless perfection, even as we grapple with insecurity, self-doubt, and the messy realities of everyday life. We suppress our true feelings, silence our inner voices, and conform to societal expectations, afraid to reveal the vulnerable, imperfect beings that lie beneath the surface. This disconnect from our authentic selves can manifest in a variety of ways. We may feel lost and unfulfilled, unsure of our purpose or passions. We may experience anxiety, depression, or a pervasive sense of emptiness, as if we are living someone else's life, disconnected from our own desires and dreams. The journey back to ourselves, to wholeness, begins with a willingness to confront the disconnect, to acknowledge the ways in which we have abandoned our own authenticity in pursuit of external validation. It requires courage to shed the masks we have worn for so long, to embrace our imperfections, and to live in alignment with our values, even when it feels uncomfortable or inconvenient. The first step towards combating the loneliness epidemic is to reclaim our attention, to wrest it from the clutches of the digital world and redirect it towards the richness and complexity of real-life connections. Our attention, that precious and finite resource, has become fragmented and scattered, pulled in countless directions by the relentless demands of the digital age. We have become slaves to the ping of notifications, the allure of breaking news alerts, the endless scroll of social media feeds, our minds constantly tethered to the digital realm, our bodies physically present but emotionally absent. This addiction to distraction comes at a steep cost, eroding our capacity for focus, diminishing our ability to engage in meaningful conversations, and hindering our ability to form deep, lasting connections. Reclaiming our attention requires a conscious effort to break free from the digital chains that bind us. It means setting boundaries around our technology use, creating spaces in our lives where devices are off limits, and rediscovering the lost art of simply being present in the moment, without the need for constant stimulation or distraction. This might mean designating tech-free zones in our homes, scheduling regular digital detoxes, or simply being more mindful of the impulse to reach for our phones in moments of boredom, anxiety, or loneliness. It's about reclaiming our autonomy, our ability to choose how we spend our time and attention, and redirecting that energy towards the people and experiences that truly nourish our souls. As we wean ourselves off the digital dopamine drip, we can begin to rediscover the profound power of offline connection, the irreplaceable magic that happens when we meet face-to-face, share a meal, engage in meaningful conversations, and simply enjoy each other's company without the digital distractions that have become so pervasive in our lives. Offline connections, unlike their digital counterparts, engage all of our senses, allowing us to experience the full spectrum of human interaction. We pick up on subtle cues, a warm smile, a knowing glance, a gentle touch, that deepen our understanding and strengthen our bonds. Offline conversations flow more organically, allowing for spontaneity, humor, and the kind of shared laughter that leaves us feeling energized and connected. We are more likely to be fully present in the moment, to listen attentively, to offer empathy and support, and to engage in the kind of deep, meaningful conversations that nourish our souls and strengthen our relationships. Making time for offline connections requires a conscious effort to prioritize face-to-face interactions in our increasingly busy lives. It means carving out time in our schedules for coffee dates with friends, family dinners, walks in the park with loved ones, or simply striking up conversations with strangers in our communities. It's about rediscovering the joy of spontaneous encounters, the beauty of shared experiences, and the simple yet profound pleasure of connecting with other human beings in the real world. In a world saturated with distractions, cultivating presence has become a radical act of rebellion. It is the conscious choice to quiet the noise, to silence the inner critic, to set aside the to-do list, and to simply be fully present in the moment with all of its imperfections and uncertainties. Presence is not about achieving a state of blissful emptiness or silencing our thoughts altogether. Rather, it is about learning to observe our thoughts and feelings without judgment, to acknowledge their presence without allowing them to dictate our actions or control our experiences. Cultivating presence requires practice, patience, and a willingness to be gentle with ourselves as we learn to navigate the inevitable distractions that arise. It is a skill that can be developed through mindfulness practices such as meditation, yoga, or simply taking a few moments each day to focus on our breath, our senses, and the world around us. As we become more present in our own lives, we naturally become more present in our interactions with others. We listen more attentively, we respond with greater empathy, and we are more attuned to the subtle cues that deepen our understanding and strengthen our connections. Presence is a gift we give ourselves and others, a powerful antidote to the loneliness and isolation that permeate our disconnected world. In an age of constant communication, true listening has become a rare and precious commodity. We are so accustomed to broadcasting our own thoughts, opinions, and experiences that we have forgotten the profound power of simply listening, of creating a space for others to feel heard, seen, and understood. True listening goes beyond simply hearing the words being spoken. It involves paying attention to the speaker's tone of voice, their body language, and the unspoken emotions that lie beneath the surface. It's about quieting our own internal dialogue, setting aside our judgments and assumptions, and allowing ourselves to be fully present with the other person to receive their words and their presence with an open heart and an open mind. When we truly listen, we create a space for connection, for empathy, for understanding. We validate the speaker's experiences, we strengthen our bonds, and we open ourselves up to the possibility of learning and growing from each other's stories. Cultivating the art of listening requires practice, patience, and a willingness to set aside our own agendas. It means resisting the urge to interrupt, to offer unsolicited advice, or to steer the conversation back to ourselves. It's about shifting our focus from being interesting to being interested, from being right to being present, from being the expert to being the student. The loneliness epidemic is not simply a personal struggle. It is a societal crisis, a reflection of the fraying social fabric that once connected us to something larger than ourselves. We live in a time of unprecedented mobility, where people move frequently for work, relationships, or simply in search of a better life. While this mobility can be liberating, it can also lead to a sense of rootlessness, a lack of belonging, and a longing for the kind of deep, enduring connections that often take root in communities where people have shared history, common values, and a sense of shared purpose. Rebuilding community in an age of fragmentation and isolation requires a conscious effort to seek out opportunities for connection, to engage in activities that align with our values, and to create spaces where people from all walks of life feel welcome, respected, and supported. This might involve joining a local book club, volunteering at a soup kitchen, attending community events, or simply striking up conversations with our neighbors. It's about rediscovering the power of collective action, the joy of shared purpose, and the deep satisfaction that comes from knowing that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Vulnerability, that willingness to open ourselves up to the possibility of hurt, rejection, or disappointment, is often seen as a weakness in our culture of self-reliance and emotional stoicism. We are taught to project an image of strength and invulnerability, to hide our imperfections and to suppress our emotions, lest we be perceived as weak, needy, or burdensome. But vulnerability, as Brené Brown so eloquently reminds us, is not weakness. It is courage. It is the courage to show up authentically in the world, to let down our guards, to risk rejection, and to allow ourselves to be seen in our entirety, flaws and all. Vulnerability is the birthplace of connection, the foundation of intimacy, and the key to unlocking the full spectrum of human experience. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we create space for others to do the same, fostering a sense of trust, empathy, and shared humanity. Cultivating vulnerability requires a willingness to challenge the narratives that keep us small, to rewrite the scripts that tell us we are not worthy of love and belonging. It's about embracing our imperfections, celebrating our quirks, and sharing our stories with courage and compassion. It's about recognizing that our vulnerabilities are not flaws to be hidden, but rather the very things that make us human, relatable, and worthy of connection. Perhaps the most profound lesson in our quest for connection is the realization that we are not broken, flawed, or incomplete. We are perfectly imperfect beings, wired for connection, longing for belonging, and capable of experiencing the full spectrum of human emotions from joy and love to grief and despair. The loneliness epidemic is not a sign of our collective failure, but rather a symptom of our collective amnesia. We have forgotten our innate capacity for connection, our inherent worthiness of love and belonging, and the simple yet profound truth that we are not meant to walk this journey alone. The path out of loneliness is not about achieving some idealized state of constant connection or eradicating our vulnerabilities. Rather, it is about embracing the messy, imperfect beauty of being human. It's about showing up authentically in our relationships, cultivating presence, practicing compassion, and allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, even when it feels scary or uncomfortable. It's about recognizing that connection is not a destination, but a journey, a lifelong practice of showing up for ourselves and others, of extending grace and compassion, and of remembering that even in our darkest moments, we are not alone. We are connected, heart to heart, soul to soul, and that connection, that shared humanity, is the very thing that will guide us home. We stand at a crossroads, a pivotal moment in human history where the very essence of our humanity, our innate need for connection, is being challenged by the relentless advance of technology and the digital divide it has created. We have journeyed deep into the heart of the loneliness epidemic, exploring its insidious roots, its devastating consequences, and the ways in which it has permeated every aspect of our lives. We have seen how the allure of convenience, the tyranny of choice, and the addictive nature of digital dopamine have led us down a path of isolation, leaving us feeling disconnected from ourselves, from each other, and from the world around us. We have witnessed the erosion of intimacy, the commodification of companionship, and the fragmentation of community, leaving us yearning for a deeper, more meaningful sense of belonging. But this is not a counsel of despair. Rather, it is a call to action, an invitation to reclaim our humanity, to rediscover the lost art of connection, and to rebuild a world where belonging is not a luxury, but a birthright. We have the power to rewrite the social script, to challenge the narratives that keep us isolated, and to create a world where connection is not a fleeting experience, but the very foundation of our lives. Our exploration has revealed that the antidote to loneliness is not to be found in some technological innovation or social media platform. Rather, it lies within each of us, in our willingness to cultivate presence, to practice empathy, to embrace vulnerability, and to show up authentically in our relationships. It is in these small, everyday acts of courage, compassion, and connection that we begin to bridge the digital divide and rediscover the profound beauty of being human, together. The revolution we seek is not a technological one, but a revolution of the heart, a radical shift in consciousness that prioritizes human connection over digital distraction, authenticity over curated perfection, and the messy, imperfect beauty of real-life relationships over the fleeting allure of online validation. It is a revolution that begins with each of us in the quiet moments of self-reflection, in the conscious choice to put down our phones and engage with the world around us, in the courage to reach out to a friend, to offer a listening ear, to extend a hand of compassion. This revolution will not be televised. It will be lived, one authentic connection at a time. It will be fought not on battlefields but in living rooms, coffee shops, and community centers, wherever people gather with the intention of connecting, sharing, and supporting one another. It will be a quiet revolution, a gradual awakening to the profound truth that our well-being, both individually and collectively, is inextricably linked to the quality of our connections. It is a revolution worth fighting for, a revolution that begins with a single step, a single conversation, a single act of kindness. As we navigate the complexities of the digital age, it's easy to forget the simple joys of human connection. The profound pleasure of sharing a meal with loved ones, the laughter that erupts from a shared joke, the comfort of a warm embrace, the quiet intimacy of a heart-to-heart conversation. In our pursuit of efficiency and productivity, we have stripped away these essential elements of human experience, replacing them with digital surrogates that, while convenient, can never fully replicate the depth and richness of real-life connection. We have traded the warmth of human touch for the cold glow of smartphone screens, the intimacy of shared laughter for the fleeting amusement of viral videos. The path out of loneliness is not about rejecting technology altogether, but rather about finding a balance, about creating space in our lives for the simple joys of human connection. It's about rediscovering the pleasure of a handwritten letter, the art of a face-to-face conversation, the magic of a shared experience in the natural world. It's about slowing down, simplifying our lives, and making time for the people and activities that truly nourish our souls. It's about remembering that connection is not a luxury, but a necessity, a fundamental human need that deserves to be prioritized, nurtured, and celebrated. In the face of a global epidemic, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, to believe that our individual actions are insignificant in the grand scheme of things. But the truth is, the revolution of reconnection begins with each of us. Every act of kindness, every genuine conversation, every effort to bridge the digital divide has a ripple effect, spreading outwards and touching the lives of those around us in ways we may never fully comprehend. We don't need to wait for permission or a grand plan to start making a difference. We can begin right here, right now, in the smallest of ways. Smile at a stranger, offer a listening ear to a friend in need, put down our phones and engage in a meaningful conversation with a loved one. Each of these actions may seem small in isolation, but together they have the power to transform our world, one connection at a time. When we choose connection over isolation, vulnerability over fear, and authenticity over perfection, we become beacons of hope, reminding others that they are not alone, that they are worthy of love and belonging, and that together, we can create a world where loneliness is no longer an epidemic, but a distant memory. Never underestimate the power of your own actions, your own capacity for compassion, your own ability to make a difference in the lives of those around you. You are not just a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop. As we conclude our exploration of the loneliness epidemic, we are left with a sense of cautious optimism, a glimmer of hope amidst the challenges we face. For within the very heart of our disconnection lies the potential for profound reconnection, a yearning for something more authentic, more meaningful, more human. We are beginning to awaken to the limitations of our digitally driven lives, to recognize the importance of face-to-face interaction, and to crave the deep, enduring connections that have sustained humanity for millennia. The path forward will not be easy. It will require a collective effort to challenge the societal norms, the technological structures, and the ingrained habits that have led us down this path of isolation. It will require courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to step outside our comfort zones, to embrace the messy, imperfect beauty of human connection. But the rewards are immeasurable. For on the other side of loneliness lies a world of possibility. A world where connection is not a luxury but the very air we breathe. A world where we can finally come home to ourselves, to each other, and to the profound beauty of being human together. The world is waiting. Right now, on this great American hard basis news and information channel, there is a creator working hard to get your view, even a simple click for a like, loosing hope, begging for your comment, so I know I have touched your life in any way. Here on Hard Basis, we search for the best news and information items you may never see anywhere else. To help you, the viewer, get a laugh or keep informed, even make you think. But I can't reach more folks just like you without your support, so please consider joining for a limited time. Your subscription is free and free for life. You will sleep well every night knowing you reached out and clicked. You will barely be able to sleep waiting for our next video, so won't you today help and subscribe, like and share? Help me help you. It won't disappoint, and thank you in advance.